Ladies and gentlemen, we will complete this first session of the morning and our conversations today by inviting to the stage Professor Ahsan Iqbal, the Federal Minister for Planning, Development and Reforms and the Deputy Chairman of the Planning Commission, to give us our final address. Sir.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Honorable Ambassador David Hale, distinguished speakers, guests, my dear friend Asfar, and ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to welcome you to Leaders in Islamabad Business Summit, and would also like to compliment Asfar for bringing together such a galaxy of business leaders from all over Pakistan. As you all know, that we today live in an age which is seeing unprecedented change. No human generation in the entire history of our civilization has seen change at the level we are witnessing. So when there is change, there is call for leadership. Therefore, whether you are an entrepreneur or a CEO of a large corporation, whether one is mayor of a small town or whether one is prime minister of the country, every leader is facing severe pressures in his or her own domain and in the external domain. That is why Jack Welch said that if the rate of change outside is greater than the rate of change inside, then end is near. And we have seen many such tragic endings. Only a couple of years ago, all of you sitting here and most of you sitting here would have been carrying a BlackBerry smartphone. But today, an obituary has been written on that great invention which introduced smartphone to the corporate executives. That shows how fast and how fierce are the forces of change. And therefore, all leaders have to rise up to the challenge. That as we see these changes in our environment, as we come to grips with an era which is now known as an era of disruption and innovation, how are we going to exercise leadership to take our people forward, to maintain order and not let these forces disrupt our journey for progress? If you look at the world, there are many challenges which unite us. The world is moving in a direction where the challenges that we face are no longer country-wide, no longer region-wide, no longer continent-wide. Most of those challenges have global implications, and they require people to collaborate, to work together. Whether it is the challenge of climate change, which is posing serious challenge for countries like Pakistan, whose global greenhouse gas emission is only 0.8%, but happens to fall in the 5 most vulnerable countries in the world for the risk of climate change, because we have to pay for the irresponsible development of other countries. Someone developed irresponsibly on other part of the planet, but our glaciers are melting. And we are facing the challenge of floods, changing weather patterns, and food security. So now, world cannot walk away from this responsibility. We have to all work together to find solutions for these challenges. Whether it is peace and security, it has been amply proven that no country can build or live in isolation. I was going to say a word, I thought it might make a political statement. No country can isolate itself. We all are interdependent. We can choose to not disengage, but we can not choose to accept the risk that will come from that disengagement. So the world has to work together to fight the threat of extremism, terrorism, and make this world a more secure and peaceful place. Whether it is the challenge of rising inequality, while in last few decades we have seen tremendous progress. Yes, poverty has come down, but simultaneously we have seen inequality is on rise everywhere. And economic literature has enough evidence to show that any progress that is built on rising inequality is not sustainable. So how can we address rising inequality in the world, and how can we address rising inequality in countries, in societies? That again requires a lot of collaboration. So the fundamental challenge for leaders today is, how do we create platforms for engagement and collaboration? And how do we fight a major challenge to our future, that is the rise of prejudice? Someone once said that human beings are the smartest species on face of the earth. But there is one bug, there is one virus that can turn this smartest creature or species into a beast, and that is the virus of prejudice. If prejudice comes in humans' mind, the rationality is gone. The lens of rationality is damaged, and that gives rise to responses which brings more conflicts. So can we afford a world in which we see rise of prejudices? Is this what will bring us more peace or stability? These are some of the great challenges which I think leaders have to face at all levels. 21st century happens to be a century of economic ideologies. 20th century was century of political ideologies, rise of liberation movements, end of imperialism, capitalist world and communist world and non-aligned movement. All those political blocks were the hallmark of 20th century. But 21st century, ladies and gentlemen, is all about economics. One who has strong economics has better chance to give their people better life. Therefore, the first country from the developing world to embrace this challenge was China. In 1979, Mr. Deng Xiaoping, who was certainly one of the greatest leaders of 20th century, he told his people, whether the cat is white or black, it does not matter as long as it catches the mice. So he asked his people to rise above political ideology and focus on economic ideas that deliver prosperity and development. So three challenges will confront every country if it wants to aspire. The first, to what level and at what speed it can create wealth. Because if the country or society is not creating wealth, it will not be able to have resources to fight poverty, to have better infrastructure for future growth, to invest for well-being of its people. You need resources, and resources will only come if society has the ability to produce and create more wealth. The second challenge is, you may have great wealth creation machine, but how is that wealth distributed in the society? For a healthy and sustainable machine, it is equally important that wealth creation does not produce rising inequality. It brings inclusive development. It brings development whose fruits are shared by people across regions and across social strata, so that everyone has a stake in that development. Otherwise, we know from 60s, in 1960 when we had a decade of development, but we could not ensure participation of people or equitable distribution. We had two side effects. A regional inequality caused breakup of Pakistan, East Pakistan left us. And the social inequality brought rise of socialist platform that brought nationalization of industry, and 10 years of industrialization was rolled back. So equally important how we ensure distribution of wealth. And third, most important in today's world is, how do you ensure that your wealth creation machine is also competitive and sustainable? This world is about competitiveness. And the drivers of competitiveness are, what is your level of productivity? How productive you are? What is the level of quality you produce? And what is the level of innovation that exists in your system? So based on the three legs of productivity, quality, and innovation, the nations have to craft their competitiveness, which is sustainable in a global environment. So this is the new road or the new path on which our leaders have to go forward. You all remember in 2013, when we came into power, we know and we remember very well, people have short memories, that Pakistan was facing serious challenges. Newsweek had put us on the title page that the most dangerous country in the world is not Iraq, it is Pakistan. International investors were leaving Pakistan and thinking that Pakistan is a gone case. Karachi was burning, and I remember on every visit, one would find stories of how people of Karachi were thinking of relocating to either Dubai, Canada, or least Lahore. So you would not, go to a social gathering where people were not telling you their stories that how they are wrapping up from Karachi. Similarly, peace and security situation was out of control, and Karachi Stock Exchange had almost crashed to 19,000 index. From there, we started our journey, and I would not make big, tall claims because it is still work in progress. But as I speak to you, in April 2017, ladies and gentlemen, the same international media which was calling Pakistan the most dangerous country in the world, whether it is Wall Street Journal, whether it is Economist, whether it is Financial Times, whether it is Bloomberg, whether it is Washington Post, they are all calling Pakistan today the next Asian emerging economy. So the times are changing for Pakistan. In a country where for 18 hours we did not have electricity, today for 18 hours we have electricity. Industry has enjoyed uninterrupted power for last almost 1 year. The production is improving. The same stock exchange which was at 19,000 index is today close to 50,000 index. and is described as one of the best performing stock markets of the world. Similarly, the security situation has remarkably improved, barring one or two odd incidences. They will continue to happen for some time until we have completely eliminated these elements. But they will not shake our resolve. With every cowardly incident they do, our resolve gets stronger. And first with Operation Azb, and now with Operation Radul Fasad, the whole nation is determined to bring Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah's Pakistan, which is based on love, harmony, peace, and not on hatred. Ladies and gentlemen, as part of our work for future, we charted a course, Vision 2025, in 2014. And after extensive consultations, which were chaired by the Prime Minister himself, we consulted extensively business leaders, private sector, and all walks of life. So we set a course and target for ourselves that by 2025, Pakistan will be, inshallah, in the top 25 economies of the world. And I remember when we published this report, there were many cynics who were laughing at us. Look at them. What are they saying? How can we be in the top 25 economies? Well, maybe they are being a little passionate. But then, just this year, we heard from PricewaterhouseCoopers in their global report that they are saying that by 2030, if the present momentum continues, Pakistan will be not in 25, but by 2030 in the top 20 economies of the world, a bigger economy than Canada. So now we are getting endorsements from respectable, credible international sources also. But in order to move forward, let me be a little honest with you. Development is not all about materials. Development is first in the mind. If we cannot internalize success in our minds, it never happens in the physical world. When a sporting team enters the arena, you can most of the times tell from their body language which team is going to win today, because the winners have internalized the victory, the success in their minds. They play with more and better positive outlook. And when we talk of innovation, innovators are guided by two things: a strong sense of self-belief, they believe in themselves that yes, they can do it, and also a strong sense of positive future, that yes, there is an opportunity in future which they can grab or which they can grasp. But if they have doubt on either of the two, they can never achieve success. So we also as a nation have to give up one thing that we have done for 70 years. But if we have an ambition to become the next Asian tiger, we have to change our lens. For 70 years we have looked at the glass half empty. Now is the time to look at glass half full. Because those leaders and those people who only look at glass half empty can only cry, can only complain, can not achieve any success. The ones who achieve success can look at the opportunities. They learn and they know how to celebrate their successes and how to energize themselves for greater successes so that they can also fill the remaining half glass full. So I think we all have to now become brand ambassadors of Pakistan. Tell all the positive things that are happening in Pakistan. And if we ourselves are going to be in any doubts, we will not be able to convince anyone outside. We have Martin Doe company, pharmaceutical company, Chief Executive Chairman here. And I would like to give you one example from our pharmaceutical industry. You know, when you go to a pharmacy to buy a medicine, what is branding at work? You find very attractive name of the medicine written, maybe if it is Tylenol or whatever, the name, and then the benefit, it relieves pain. But when you come home and open the carton or the packet, you find that there is a little paper inside with such a fine print that you cannot even read with your eyes, and you will need maybe binoculars to read that paper. And there you have all the side effects written. They don't write the side effects on the main packing. So we have to start speaking about the benefits of Pakistan to the world and hide the side effects inside the packing. But unfortunately, most of us do it otherwise. So please stop hiding the benefits of Pakistan and now start propagating to the world that Pakistan, alhamdulillah, after 1 decade is going to be crossing 5% growth rate this year. This is not a small achievement. We were caught in that trap of slow growth. We have more than doubled our reserves. Pakistan has become the 3rd biggest e-lancing country in the world thanks to our youth, who are now great IT entrepreneurs. And we look forward to making Pakistan a great technology place, as Dr. Ataur Rahman was saying. So behind this, let me share with you that we have 2 great corridors which are going to be our strengths in our future. One is the famous China-Pakistan Economic Corridor that we started in July 2013, and I am very grateful to the Prime Minister that he gave me the honor to sign that MOU and look after this project. When we signed this MOU in July 2013, it was a piece of paper. A piece of paper which only expressed intention to work together for China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Within 1 year, it was translated into a portfolio of $46 billion projects. And within 1 year, we were able to bring many of those projects on ground. And today, within less than 3 years, it has become the biggest regional cooperation and regional connectivity initiative anywhere in the world. And today, thanks to CPAC, the whole world wants to work with Pakistan. You may have just heard that Great Britain says that they want to be co-sponsors of CPAC conference in Pakistan, and they want to join CPAC. Almost all the European Union countries' ministers have met me, and they have said that we want to work with Pakistan to support CPAC. Ambassador of United States has met me and said that we also support CPAC and we want to work with Pakistan. All the Central Asian Republic heads of states have said to Prime Minister that we want to join Pakistan and work with CPAC. So when was the last time you heard world coming to Pakistan and saying that we want to join you and work with you for a regional prosperity project? It is because we have brought one change in the direction of the country. For 70 years, our previous rulers put us in a web of geopolitics. I think Pakistan's strength does not lie in geopolitics. It lies in geoeconomics. And through CPAC, we want to create a regional cooperation platform which will integrate South Asia, China, and Central Asia to create a 3 billion market in this region, in which Pakistan is pivotal and has the potential to become hub of manufacturing, trade, and commerce. Today, ladies and gentlemen, there are 85 million jobs in China, which will be graduating from light engineering, labor-intensive industry to capital-intensive and high-value industry. And those 85 million jobs are being relocated to economies which have cheap labor, which have less cost of production. And with China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, we are a prime destination to attract most of those 85 million jobs in the 9 industrial zones that we are establishing to relocate that Chinese industry which is going elsewhere. Instead, it should come to Pakistan. So even if we get 10% of those jobs, it can unleash a new industrial revolution in Pakistan. And with this CPEC, we have the potential, inshallah, to bring Pakistan's growth rate to 8 to 10% for next 3 decades at least. And that means that if we keep this momentum, by 2047, when Pakistan will complete its 100 years, it can very well aspire to be in the top 10 economies of the world. So this is the path that is before us. So China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is helping us remove 2 bottlenecks from our economy, energy and infrastructure. But as Dr. Atta Rahman was mentioning, that only energy and infrastructure will not bring development. We also need software for development. In 1998, in our previous government, we started in an initiative which was ably continued under the leadership of Dr. Atta Rahman, because when military coup came, it again discontinued most of our initiatives. But then we started a project to train 5,000 PhDs for Pakistan to give it the requisite human resource in July 1999. That project was launched, but unfortunately, many other projects could not continue because of the political change that happened in the country. And that actually is the real reason. You know, it was said that why Pakistan has not become Korea, Pakistan has not become Malaysia. It is not that we don't have the vision. It is not that we do not have the skills. It is not that we do not have the talent. It is not that our political leaders are worse than many of these other countries. Ladies and gentlemen, whether it is Japan, whether it is China, whether it is Korea, whether it is Singapore, whether it is Thailand, whether it is Indonesia, whether it is Turkey, whether it is India, name any country, no country has ever achieved success without ensuring political stability and continuity in policies. It is this one factor which has not let us in the past achieve our true potential. But Alhamdulillah, I think now, as it was said by our Japanese friend, Pakistan's democracy is becoming stable. We had one term for previous government, and now inshallah we'll have full term for this government, and this cycle will continue. And as Pakistan becomes a stable democracy, we will see that we will double and triple our speed on development path. So Pakistan is now poised for this new opportunity path with one opportunity of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. But we have started a new, very revolutionary concept and initiative, and I am looking forward to full support. I have always said to Ambassador that you can leave a legacy in Pakistan. You know, we had best of the best relations with United States in the past. And those relations were at points in such a condition that one word from our ruler was a command for United States. They would have happily, obliged with whatever favors we would have asked them. But none of those previous rulers who enjoyed best of the best relations, whether it was General Musharraf or it was General Ziaul-Haq or General Ayub Khan, had the vision to know what is the true strength of United States. They thought that climax of Pakistan-US relation was if we only got one extra piece of F-16 or a couple of missiles from United States, we have done justice with Pakistan-US friendship. No. The strength of United States lies in its universities. Those of you who have studied there know it well, and I also know through my experience that the real weaponry in the arsenal of United States power is the power of its universities. We failed to get access to that power. So now we have started an initiative of US-Pakistan Knowledge Corridor, for which we have approved a project of 84 billion rupees, under which we aim to train 10,000 PhDs in next 10 years in top 200 US universities to provide us the human resource that will guide Pakistan on this 21st century growth, dynamic growth path. And inshallah, I hope that young Pakistani scholars and scientists who will go for this opportunity will come back and through their talent and innovation guide us. And also, we are running the biggest Fulbright program. And to show again our commitment, for the first time, Government of Pakistan offered to United States that we are grateful that you are giving us money, but we would also like to contribute our share to this scholarship so that we make a statement that we are serious about education and about building knowledge foundations with United States. So that Fulbright program has also changed from totally US donor-driven project to a partnership of US and Pakistan, where Pakistan is also contributing towards Fulbright program. So in the end, I would say that, we have great opportunities. The leaders have to now look forward. And I would say that there are 5 key attributes which our leaders must develop. You are all great leaders. Private sector has the flexibility, has the enterprise, has the freedom. In public sector, we are very constrained. In public sector, I cannot even dismiss a chaprasi from government job, no matter how inefficient he or she may be, because the next day that person will get a stay order and stare at me, and I'll be saying that maybe if I had not done it, I was better off. So governments are totally paralyzed, through these legal injunctions and whatever happens. But the private sector is free. You have the freedom. And it is only through private sector that we can take Pakistan on a fast path forward. So therefore, what I would like that you must have personal excellence. You must go for achieving personal excellence, but understand that personal excellence is not complete without collective competence. You must, as leader, translate your personal excellence into collective competence. It is only through collective competence you create an enduring legacy. Otherwise, your success goes with you when you leave office. Number 2, you must also commit yourself to positive self-belief and also positive future for your organization and for your country. Number 3, you must develop an ability to simultaneously have a microscopic view and the telescopic view. You must be able to look at your organization inside with micro detail and also look at the horizon for the changes that might affect you. You must have, as Stephen Covey said, both ability of compass and of the clock. Not only that you do the right things, but you are also fast. Because in the previous age, big used to eat small, today fast eats the slow. And finally, you must also learn to play the game of competition and collaboration simultaneously. There is no competition unless you also learn that there are some common values for your industry, for your country, for your society, on which we must also collaborate. We must not just divide ourselves in silos. We must develop the ability to form synergistic, collaborative teams at different levels so that our collective output is greater than the sum of our individual effort. So I hope that with this wisdom and with this knowledge you will gain here in this conference, you will all commit yourselves to making Pakistan the next Asian tiger and helping us achieve the top 25 economies slot by 2025. So let me end by a pledge. We must all pledge that from now, which is the slogan of Vision 2025, we commit ourselves to continuously work harder, work better, and work smarter to make Pakistan the Asian tiger. Because if we work harder, that will give us more productivity. If we work better, that will give us better quality. And if we work smarter, it will give us innovation. So these are the three drivers of success. And let me conclude with Allama Iqbal, his very eloquent expression as a charter for any leader, that leader must have a vision and must have the ability to create that vision through his or her hard work. Zinda dil se nahi poshida, zamir takdir, ख्वाब में देखता है आलम नौ की तस्वीर, और जब बांगे अज़ां करती है बेदार उसे, करता है ख्वाब में देखी हुई दुनिया तामीर. पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद.
Minister, thank you so much.